we working? Just a notch and just a bump over here, and sounds okay to me. Hey, Kitty's here. Man, we are going to have weather next week between 76 and 83. Oh man, I plan on getting a ton of shit done. Yep. Get with it here, asshole. You know, I'm starting to strip the RAV4. And I had a bank of 5 scanners plus a CB. So that's 6 antennas. I spent probably a good week hiding wires, doing a really neat job. I hadn't realized what a pain in the ass it is to remove that shit. Oh my God, it took me forever to get them antennas and all that cable out of the roof. Not to mention now I have to get the wiring for the backup camera. And the wiring for the front fog lights. Oh, God. And then I have to turn around and redo all this shit on the Passat. Nice and neat. No wire showing. And all the antennas are going to end up on the deck lid because, well, with the RAV4, it had that big long roof. So, thank God we're going to have nice weather next week. I can get all that taken care of. And pray that, well, the scanners have little button batteries to maintain the memory. I think before I disconnect all the scanners, I'm going to check the button batteries first. Because I hate to have to plug all them frequencies in. Not to mention, fewer and fewer police departments are broadcasting on open bands. And I'm not about to spend $1,000 for one of these new Bearcat scanners. Linda's here. How you doing tonight? Everything okay? No dizzy? Get out of here. Damn it. Yeah, for the hell of it, I looked up the, well, I started with the low-end Bearcat scanner and then went to the high-end. And, Jesus, $7.99 to 14 something, $14.99. Oh, almost $1,500 for a scanner. Of course, you know, with most of the police and fire and EMS scrambling everything. You need these new high-powered. I'll just see when I turn all the scanners on what I get. I get what I get. Hey, the Rambo's here. All right. Broadcasting live from station WDWL TV Studio 1. Corporate offices located on Grumpy Vulture Boulevard, and my personal studios are on Grumpy Old Man Road. And for you first timers, I am the Grumpy Old Man. And the Grumpy Jackalope. All right, the Grumpy Vulture. Take your ball for Christ's sake. Don't fall over. Don't fall off the perch. Jesus, get your banner straight. No more spotlight. That's it. We're conserving energy. Whoop. Touchy button. Well, Linda, if you're not feeling 100%, you can go take it easy. I hate to hear that you're still not feeling well. It sucks to be our age. What I wouldn't give to be back in my 20s again. Oh, Jesus. And have all the cars I had. Oh. You know, it's getting sad that the younger generation has no interest in car restorations. Now, believe me, since the 90s, there isn't really anything worth restoring, or the 80s. Well, maybe a few in the 80s. But I have a friend that has, oh God, how many has he got? Six. He's got 2 custom-built tea buckets, both 1929. He has 2 custom-built roadsters, both of them 1930s. He has a either 50, I think it's a 56 Ford Crown Victoria, and a 70 Dodge Dart. All of these are immaculate. He's been trying to sell them for almost a year now. Nobody wants them. He goes to a cruise in And the younger generation, they drool over these things. When he says they're all for sale, make an offer, they're like, well, we don't want them. We just like to look at them. It's sad. The younger generation just has no interest in these vehicles. And I've heard that even auto museum attendance is down across the United States. They just could care less about history. They don't realize that we started out with a Model T. Crank it to start it. No doors, no windows, no heat. People bundled up in the winter, and they drove them. I don't think cars had heaters as standard until like the late, maybe mid to late 50s. Because I can remember my buddy's father had a 46 or 47 Chevy. It didn't have a heater in it. He burned sterno cans. He would light sterno cans in order to kind of keep his feet warm, and then he'd rub his hands over them. Kids today don't realize at one time a heater was an option. You want a heater? How much? $50. Oh, too expensive. And like I say, after the 70s, there really isn't anything worth restoring. I mean, I can't see restoring a 2000 Buick Century, you know. I don't know how many times my buddy has dropped the price on all these. Oh God, I would. Oh, would I love to have one? But it's old farts like me that would want them. I mean, I would love to have the 1930 Ford four-door sedan hot rod. Oh God, the engine that. Oh. He takes them to cruise-ins, and the younger generation, they drool over them. Oh wow, look at this. You want to buy it? No. Me own something? No, don't want it. I mean, I find it hard to believe that to this day, they actually have young generation archaeologists digging over in Egypt. You would think that was a law. Me, archaeology, Dig? Oh, no. Get my hands dirty? Fuck no. And they're graduating fewer doctors. They're graduating fewer nurses. They're even graduating fewer lawyers. There is a nationwide shortage on doctors. Not only here, but over in England. You know, Linda, there's one thing that I always wished I would have done. I would have loved to travel Route 66 from beginning to end. I mean, it's hardly traveled now, but you know, I would love to be driving down and drive past an old abandoned gas station, and just envision what it was like 30, 40, maybe 50 years ago. I mean, there's a low attendance on everything. You take a look at NASCAR, you take a look at drag racing. Young kids are like, I don't know. I had a friend and his wife that did the Route 66 cruise. Oh, Christ, it's got to be 35, 40 years now. And they have some wonderful photographs. But it's hardly traveled today. Today, Route 66 is like a side street. Really? Well, that's amazing. Nice hearing that. The University of South Alabama. USA. Oh, I like that. The University of South Alabama, USA. How unique. That just hit me. USA. Oh. But out of these graduates, Linda, how many were going to go on to study medicine? Oh, yeah. I do that today, Linda. I go to the grocery store and say, goodies, cat food. Goodies, cat food. Goodies, cat food. Put the goodies down, cat food. I go in and I stare at steak. And I'm like, God, I remember eating them back in the day. Now I can't afford the package it comes in. Even goddamn lunch meat. I go to my butcher shop down the road. Bologna, $6.99 a pound. Bologna. I asked him. I says, "Well, what is that made out of gold and titanium?" I used to love pickled pimento loaf and olive loaf. $8.99 a pound for lunch meat. You take a pound of lunch meat and a pound of cheese, a loaf of bread, and a jar of Hellman's mayonnaise. You're at $25, 30. God, I hope your daughter didn't take it off a car while it was going around the track. Give me that tire! I got the tire. Was it autographed? That would have made it worth even more money if he signed it. Now, like me, I have a die-cast car, a Jeff Gordon die-cast car, that he autographed. I don't know how many times I put the damn thing on eBay. Nobody wants it. Oh, Linda, I'm not talking package. I'm talking you go to the meat counter and get it fresh sliced. And look at the prices on lunch meat. Like, especially like if it's like boar's head, a big name, Eckrich. Now, yeah, you can get Eckrich bologna in a package for $3.97. If you go to the meat counter and get it hand sliced, it's ridiculous. I was all set to get, I was going to get a pound of pickled pimento loaf, Eckrich. I was going to get a pound of Eckrich Dutch loaf, which now is called old-fashioned loaf, and a pound of American cheese, and a loaf of bread, and I'm adding up, it's like $28 for fucking lunch meat. And then nobody can tell me why the name went from Dutch loaf to old-fashioned loaf. Did the Dutch get insulted or what? The one day there was a young kid working the slicer, and I says to him, I says, I want a pound of Dutch loaf. He went, what? I said, I want a pound of Dutch loaf. He turns around and he looks at the sign. with the prices. We don't sell that, sir. I said, it's right here in the front of the meat case. I'm looking at it. Oh, there's no Dutch loaf there, sir. I said, come here. Come around this side. Right there. Oh, that's not Dutch loaf, sir. It's old-fashioned loaf. I said, good. Give me a pound of old-fashioned Dutch loaf, please. What's with the name change? Did the Dutch say, hey, we didn't invent that? Get our name off of that. Yeah, now old-fashioned loaf. But I couldn't believe it when I said to him, I'll take a pound of Dutch loaf. We don't sell that. I said, what do you mean you don't sell it? There's no Dutch loaf on... No, we don't sell that. Come here. This side of the counter. I want a pound of that. He reaches in the counter and he pulls it out and goes, oh, that's not Dutch loaf. He holds it up. That's old-fashioned loaf. Okay, I'll take a pound of old-fashioned Dutch loaf. Thank you. Linda, I probably have. Now, I have a giant 1/18 scale die-cast car collection. I probably have well over 500 pieces of Jeff Gordon stuff. I have shit that goes back to when he was racing go-karts. Nobody wants it. So there's boxes sitting in the corner of my living room. Looks like a warehouse. Yeah, Kathy, but why did we have to change the name? Since I was knee-high to a cockroach, it was always Dutch loaf. Then all of a sudden, old-fashioned loaf. Well, Dutch loaf is made traditionally. Pickled pimento is made traditionally. Olive loaf. God forbid you ask for goose liver. What? We don't sell no goose liver here. All right, Braunschweiger. Oh, yeah, we got that. But there's a difference. Goose liver comes in a square loaf with a white, yucky shit around it. Looks like fat. Braunschweiger comes in a round, and you can spread it on crackers if you want. And they don't taste identical. You can get Braunschweiger and it's in a plastic wrap, or you can get goose liver and it's in a casing and it's stitched. They used to make small ones. I haven't seen them. Used to be able to get a small goose liver, and it was in a white casing, maybe some intestine, I don't know, and it was stitched shut. No, and you know, I've got into arguments. Goose liver and Braunschweiger are like day and night. They are not made the same. They don't taste the same. Everybody's like, oh, yes, they do. No. Goose liver comes in I'll call it a skin, and it's stitched. They sew it up. Because if you're not careful, you'll end up eating some of that rope. You know, I've already got string, twee. If you get Braunschweiger, it's in a plastic tube. I want goose liver. I don't want Braunschweiger. Because usually I tell the guy, give me a chunk of goose liver about that big. And then there you go. Okay, wrap that up. And people think it's made from the liver of a goose. It's got liver in it. I don't know if it has liver of a goose in it. Maybe it does. I don't know. Tastes fine to me. But you used to be able to buy little goose livers. They were about the size of the microphone, about that big, in a casing that was sewn. You don't see them anymore. You see Braunschweiger. I don't want Braunschweiger. I want a goose liver. We used to have, well, the German restaurant is still up the street. But the German restaurant used to have a deli. And you could get authentic goose liver at this German deli. Oh. They had the best goose liver. Oh my God. And it was family owned. And several times a year, Grandma would make pickled pig's feet. And you could go in and buy them. Not like this shit that's in a jar. That stuff in the jar is nasty. I even commented one day, I was at that gigantic eaglet, and the guy was stalking. He was about my age, old fart. And I grabbed the jar of pickled pig's feet. And I said to him, I can't believe, first of all, they still make this. And second of all, Giant Eagle still sells this. And he turned and he went, old people like you and I still eat it. I said, yeah, but this thing, I'll take it anyway. I got a taste for pig's feet. Same thing with Limburger cheese. That white shit in the jar, Moosehead, is not Limburger cheese. Moosehead. Although there's a couple of things my grandfather used to eat, and I like head cheese. It ain't cheese. I'll never forget the one day he goes, hey, you want a sandwich? I go, yeah. He said, I got some fresh head cheese. I was like, what is head cheese? He unwrapped it and I went, I ain't eating that shit. Looks like somebody already ate it. And he used to get tongue. Every now and then he'd come home with a pound of tongue. I ain't eating no tongue. No thank you. And head cheese is the nastiest looking shit. And people don't realize that's pig's ears and tails and nostrils, and I ain't eating that shit. I'll never forget the... Oh, God, this goes back to the 70s. We were in my backyard working on cars. And my buddy shows up with a lunchbox. And we're working away. He goes, anybody hungry? I said, yeah. What do you got? Well, I got sandwiches. Well, I'll take one. Unwrap it. Take a bite out of it. I was like, what the fuck is this? What's head cheese? It's all I eat. Oh. To be nice, I forced it down, but believe me, it wanted to come back up. Now, Kathy, I used to get what they called sauce up here. And it was like meatloaf. It looked like meatloaf. And it came regular and hot. And I used to love it. And then they quit carrying it. But they would have the head cheese and the sauce right next to one another. But the sauce that we had up here, like I say, it looked like meatloaf. And it was delicious. And then they stopped carrying it because people weren't buying it. As a matter of fact, I still can't believe I'll go into Gigantic Eaglet and they still carry head cheese. Next time I'm there, I'm going to ask the guy, how much of that do you sell a month? Because I can't see no teenage kid going in, I want a pound of head cheese, please. That is one item I can't stomach. Head cheese, oh no. Nope, nope. And then there was a lunch meat. Oh God. It was called blood sausage. It looked like head cheese, but it was brownish red. And then spiced ham. Oh, that is nasty. I tried a piece one day, spiced ham. It don't taste like no fucking ham. But I can't believe they still sell this stuff. Now, see, my grandmother used to get rice sausage, and then she would get blood sausage. And it looked like rice sausage, but she said it was made with blood. And she cooked it the same way as she did. Some people call it a rice ring. Some people like hurka. I'll take a hurka. And then there's one that looks just like a rice ring, but it's made with blood. But this lunch meat was made with blood. And I forget what it was called, but it looked ugly. It looked like head cheese, red head cheese. And you know, rice sausage is getting very hard to find. I think the only place that carries it is my little butcher shop or maybe Gigantic Eaglet. Oh, I love rice sausage. Or as my grandparents would call it, hurka. Let's have some hurka. That's because the younger generation won't eat that shit. They look at it and go, oh my God, you people are sick. Hang on, I gotta turn the ceiling fan on. It's getting a little warm in here. And when you're cooking rice sausage in the oven, you have to be extremely careful when you turn it. Because if you're not, it'll explode. God, I remember my grandfather be like, "Oh, gee, it exploded all over in the pan." I think I'm going to go on a mission next week to find me some authentic horka. I know where I can get it. I just go up the street to the butcher shop. He has it all the time. Now, one thing I never is a horka and a kishka the same thing? Did Frankie Yankovic call it kishka because it didn't sound right? Someone stole the horka. Someone stole the horka. Although it's same syllables. Oh God, Linda, I could eat a whole one. Although they're not that big. I used to look forward to it. My grandfather picked me up. He'd go, "Oh, you know what we're gonna have for dinner tonight?" No, what? Horka. I got two. Oh boy! And then he'd tell my grandmother, "Don't explode it. Gently when you turn it, gently." Oh, I gotta find some. I'm gonna have to go to the butcher shop because I don't want any commercial made from Gigantic Eaglet. I want it fresh made. And then I'll have to remember, bake it slow and turn it easy. Oh, my sausage and oh, my Slovenian sausage and sauerkraut last night. Oh, absolutely delicious. I wanted to go back for seconds, and I was like, no, I'm going to save that for another meal. Although I did save half the jar of sauerkraut. But tomorrow when I go to Mark's, I'm going to buy me some caraway seed sauerkraut. That's the thing. I get on a sauerkraut kick, and I'll make shit with sauerkraut all week. I guess while I'm up at the butcher shop, when I'm getting my rice ring, I'll have to get some authentic goose liver too. Give me a piece about that big. Whew, there you go. Your grandparents didn't eat any of that stuff? Well, you gotta remember, my grandparents were, my grandfather was Hungarian, my grandmother was Slovenian, so that was all the stuff that they grew up on. And some of it I liked and some of it I didn't. The only rule was I had to taste it. Even if it's one bite, my grandparents would say, taste it. You don't know whether you like it or not unless you taste it. And some things I would taste and I'd be like, okay, I'll take some. Other things I would taste and be like, no way, nope, nope, nope. But as long as I tasted it, they were happy. Because the day I tasted head cheese, I was like, nope, Grandpa, nope, nah. Well, it's all the same area. They just, Serbians and Hungarians just made it different, spiced it different. But there's a lot of foods. You know, except when you get like the Arabic countries and that. If you took Hungarian, Serbian, Czechoslovakian, all the foods are similar. But like I say, as long as I tasted something, my grandparents were happy. I didn't have to like it. They told me one bite, one bite, and swallow it. Believe me, that bite of head cheese, it went down hard. Oh, it didn't want to get past the asparagus here. I told my grandfather, no, none of that for me, thank you. And the thing that amazes me to this day, my grandmother was an outstanding cook. My father grew up on some good eating. Then he married my mother, who would burn boiled water. My mother couldn't cook for shit. I was like, gee, before you gave her an engagement ring, didn't you ever cook a meal for you? And if you did, were you blind? You had no taste buds? It was shocking. My mother couldn't, oh my God. She was the worst cook on earth. Half the time she would mistime the spaghetti. I'd like, Mom, this stuff's crunchy. It's called al dente. I said, no, it's crunchy. What'd you do? Pour it in the pan, wait 2 minutes. God, my mother couldn't even make goddamn macaroni and cheese. Nothing like having Kraft macaroni and cheese and the macaroni being crunchy. And my father married her. Oh, although the wrestler and the boxer, I still wish I would have known that story. Matter of fact, my sister said overtime is slowly dwindling, so she might be able to find the scrapbooks. I said, good. Because I want to find out what her wrestling name was. She did not wrestle under her own name. That much I know. But I can't remember what it was. Because not knowing her wrestling name, you can't look her up. I can't Google her because I don't know what her wrestling name is or was. I just want to show off some of them pictures of her in the ring. But how those two met, how they started dating, I just... And then for her not to be able to cook. She couldn't pour ragu out of the bottle the right way. And she wondered why I always wanted to have dinner at my friends' houses. Their mothers knew how to cook. My mother'd say, oh, you want macaroni and cheese? Yeah. Well, here's the box. Start eating. You're supposed to pour this in boiling water. Just eat it. Okay. I don't like the taste of the cardboard. We didn't have knives, forks, and spoons on the table. We had hammers and chisels. What are you doing with that hammer? I'm breaking up the macaroni. Oh, Jeff. Now I can kind of understand why my father did a lot of, well, every weekend he did the cooking. That's because he wanted at least 2 days of edible food. Speaking of easy bake ovens, to this day, I wonder how you could bake a cake in an easy bake oven with a light bulb. I remember you get the cake mix, pour it in that little pan, put it in the oven, turn the light bulb on. Next thing you know, there was a cake. Cake was about that big, but yeah, I remember my sister had an easy bake oven. My sister had all kinds of neat shit, not me. Make out a Christmas list? Why? I won't be getting anything that's on it. My father knew this guy who had a warehouse, and he dealt in, he called it distressed merchandise. And every year at Christmas, my father would go down to this distressed merchandise warehouse and buy a bunch of shit. And then come Christmas morning, the hell's this? I didn't ask for this. Open another packet. The hell's this? Nothing on my Christmas list. Nothing. Then I found out years later where he got this shit from. He was buying shit like 10 cents on the dollar. It would be a puzzle, and 2 pieces would be missing. Or there wouldn't be a picture on the box. Because when it came through the printer skipped a few boxes. So they would pull them puzzles off and, what's this? It's a puzzle. Well, what is it? I don't know. Put it together. How can I? There's no picture in the box. Figure it out. You ever get a puzzle that didn't have a picture on the box? How do you put it together? That was like 1 year. I opened the puzzle box, and every piece inside was white. And I said, well, what is this? It's a snowstorm. But there ain't no color. That's because it's a snowstorm puzzle. Yeah, the puzzle, it'd go through the slicer, and there'd be no, couple of puzzle. Before they hit the slicer, they'd come down, they didn't have a picture on it. This guy would buy this shit. Then my father would go buy it. It's a snowstorm puzzle. How do I put it together? You'll figure it out. Try putting a puzzle together that's all white and no picture in the box. It's a snowstorm. A blinding snowstorm. A whiteout snowstorm. That's the kind of shit I got for Christmas. I'll never forget I got a Roy Rogers gun belt. Had no bullets and no gun. I was like, where's the rest? That's it. I didn't get the gun? No bullets? No, it's a gun belt. Yeah, but do I get a gun later on? No. Be thankful you got the gun belt. That's the kind of shit that I got for Christmas. Whatever the guy had in the warehouse, my father was like, okay, I'll take one of them, one of them, one of them, one of them, one of them. How much do I owe you? $5? Okay, here. One year I asked for a bicycle. I got the frame. No pedals, no handlebars, no chain, no wheels, no fenders, a frame. How am I going to ride it? Well, look in the junk. Somebody will throw out a bicycle, you can put it together. And I can't believe that he would sell that shit. And I can't, well, I can believe my father was so goddamn cheap. I could believe he bought it. What's those boxes over there? Man, puzzles. Open one up. There ain't no color. There ain't no picture. It's a snowstorm. Okay, I'll take 2. I'll buy one for my daughter, too. That's the kind of shit that I got. One year I got a rocket ship. Well, almost. It was a launch pad. No rocket ship, just the launch pad. Where's the rocket? What's up in space? They already launched it. Well, what do I do with this? Use your imagination. You're lucky you got the launch pad. I go over to my buddy's house and there's stacks of toys and what did you get? Well, I got a blinding snowstorm puzzle and a launch pad. No rocket ship. One year I got a GI Fred. Not a GI Joe, a GI Fred. He was a captured enemy. Oh boy. Yeah, Christmas was not a happy event. Ask for a stuffed animal, I'd get one of these. Here. It's a vulture. I wanted a teddy bear. Once you fall asleep, you'll think it's a teddy bear when you're hugging it. Don't just, Whatever shit this guy had in that warehouse, my father bought. The one Christmas, the puzzle was half color. Half of it was white, and the other half was part of a picture of something, but there was no picture on the box. Is this a town or what? Well, put it together. I don't know where this guy bought this shit from, but everybody had told me he had a warehouse full. And of course, my father wasn't the only cheap ass that went in there to buy shit from. One Christmas, I got a ceramic aardvark. I didn't ask for a ceramic aardvark, but I got one. All my buddies had toy soldiers and airplanes and tanks on their dressers. I had a ceramic aardvark on mine. Matter of fact, when I started to unwrap it, I was like, oh, and then I got it fully unwrapped and went, oh, what the hell is this? It's an aardvark. What do I do with it? Put it on your dresser. It'll look nice. Let's play Army. Wait a minute, I've got the invading aardvark. Was the first and last time I got to ask to play Army. No such thing as invading aardvarks. Well, that's what I got. One Christmas I got toy soldiers. They were all Russian. And what made it worse is they had the old Cyrillic lettering on them. This looks like it says Potemka or something. Oh, he must be the general. I don't know. That's why I don't celebrate holidays anymore. They don't bring back warm and fuzzy memories. Yeah, I wanted a teddy bear. I got an aardvark and a porcupine. And the porcupine had real needles. My friends said, you want to come over and see my Christmas gifts? No, it's too depressing. I said, when I grow up, I'm going to decorate a dead Christmas tree, put broken ornaments on it. It would remind me of my childhood. How come you drag that dead tree in here? Goddamn needles everywhere. Don't worry, it'll look great. Put a little tinsel on it, a couple of broken ornaments, it'll look fine. The only time Grandpa would buy me a toy. Grandma would buy me underwear. Every Christmas. Underwear. Oh, thank you, Grandma. Just what I asked for. Don't you appreciate that? Yeah. As a matter of fact, wait, I'll put them on over my pants right now. Every year. Until I was 21. Underwear for Christmas. Yeah, it almost sounds like my house. Oh, look, a carton of Camels. Oh, those must be mine. You're too young to smoke. I just let you open them. Give you the excitement of unwrapping a gift. Oh, boy. Yeah, 21 years old. My grandmother said, Merry Christmas. I wonder what this could be. Oh boy, underwear. No socks this year? They were too expensive? Oh, okay. Aren't you going to show off your gift? Look, everybody. BVD briefs from Grandma. Grandma, they're kid size. You'll fit into them. Maybe one leg. Thank you. And she'd keep the receipt so you couldn't return it. Grandma, I wear size 30 waist now, not 8. They'll stretch. Ain't gonna stretch that. Oh, they'll stretch. I'll have an atomic wedgie if I put these on. I know, it was the thought that counted. She would never ask my size. I bought these when you were 7. Yeah, when I was 7. They won't fit. They'll stretch. Okay. Thank you. The only fun thing was when I got the toy from Grandpa. But it had to stay at his house. Yeah, but it's a neat Tonka truck. I can play in my buddy's sandbox. No, you gotta have something here to play with. Okay. The only great day was my birthday. Because Grandma would bake me a Boston cream pie. My favorite. I saw one in the bakery the other day. $22. I was like, Jesus. For a pie? Yep, every birthday she would make me a Boston cream pie because she knew I didn't like cake. And if my mother baked me a cake, it was always date and nut. I hate date and nut. But she liked it. We know why that got baked. It's your favorite. No, it's your favorite. I'll take my Boston cream pie into my bedroom, thank you. Aren't you going to share it? Share that stinking date nut cake. Easy. Oh, God, I haven't had lemon meringue pie in eons. My buddy's mother used to make lemon meringue pies. After school, would you like a slice of pie? Yes. She would make lemon meringue and chocolate cream. Chocolate cream pie. Oh. And you could smell those pies baking through the neighborhood. You just followed your nose right to my... And she was the type like you would see in the movies. She would put the pie on the window ledge to cool it. And nobody ever stole it. But boy, the aroma going through somebody's baking pie. I'll never forget the first time my mother attempted cherry pie. Almost broke my jaw in the pits. Oh, I got something to tell Kathy. The other day, when I was at Mark's, they actually had, are you ready? Are you ready? Solo poppy seed filling. I had to do a triple take. I have not seen solo poppy seed filling in eons. I'm standing there staring at it, and the woman was like, "Are you looking for something?" I said, "I'm staring at the poppy seed filling." And nut. They had poppy seed and nut filling. I have not seen either one of them in years. I'm tempted to buy a can of poppy seed filling and just eat it with a spoon. was, and they had 2 rows. They had 2 rows of cherry. They had 2 rows of lemon. 2 rows of poppy seed. 2 rows of nut. I can't remember what else they had. I was like, holy shit! I wonder if I could eat it with a spoon. Do you have to cook that stuff? Although I can't. Oh, I just remembered. Eat that stuff. My urine test will come back for cocaine. My doctor will kill me. Oh, yeah, that was the last one. Apricot. Yeah, there was 2 rows of lemon, 2 rows of cherry, 2 rows of poppy seed, 2 rows of nut, and 2 rows of apricot. I knew there was another, but I have not seen poppy seed. I mean, you can't go to a bakery and get anything with poppy seed in it. They don't make poppy seed Danish. They used to make poppy seed filled donuts. They don't even put poppy seed on top of the goddamn Italian bread anymore. You can get plain or sesame seed. When I would go to Giant Eagle every Sunday, and I would order a loaf of Italian bread with poppy seeds. And it used to piss the baker off because he'd 1 loaf. And then the next week, I go in and I said, I want a loaf for next Sunday. And the manager of the bakery said, we're out of poppy seeds and we can't get any more. I said, what? Yep. Oh, Kathy, it's going to be 30 years since I've seen solo poppy seed. And there it was, 2 rows on the shelf. Well, yeah, Ron, that's why I can't eat anything with fucking poppy seed in it. Because it'll throw a false cocaine positive. I even asked my doctor, I said, I'll bring you the frickin' proof that it was, nope, can't eat any. God, good thing I thought of that. I'd go to Mark's tomorrow and I'd buy me a can. I'd be sitting eating it with a spoon. I go to my pain management doctor. He go, piss test today. Uh-oh. Man, the cocaine levels on your urine test are off the chart. I am poppy seed. Prove it. Okay, I'll bring you the empty solo can. Here, look, I ate the whole can with a spoon. Yeah, that's basically why bakeries have done away with anything poppy seed. Because there's so many companies that do drug tests that if you ate a poppy seed donut or you ate a poppy seed a Danish and you took a drug test, you were screwed. Your drug test came back positive for cocaine. What? Right here, look, cocaine. Off the chart. Well, when I see my pain management doctor the end of the month, he warns me. He always tells me, next month, urine test. Okay, I guess I have to lay off the cocaine and the heroin and the meth. Kathy, did you ever eat a poppy seed filled donut? I used to get them all the time. And then they no longer existed. They were like a regular filled donut with powdered sugar, but they were filled with poppy seed. They were the best donuts on earth. You can't even order them. Oh yeah. But the sad thing is, I can't eat them. Now, there's a Hungarian bakery. It's about 27th and Lorraine. They will make anything you want. Matter of fact, believe me, you see poppy seed Danish and everything. And I asked the guy once, I said, could I get a dozen poppy seed donuts? He said, when do you want them? I said, well, I'm just asking. But I can't eat them. I would love to overdose on poppy seed filled donuts. Although one thing that they do make, and I've ordered them several times, the good old crackling biscuits, the Hungarian breakfast biscuits, pogaches. They still make them, and I've ordered them. It's just a pain in the ass to drive all the way down to West 25th Street to get them. But they still make pogaches. And they made them big, too. Oh, nothing. My grandmother used to make them. They were like about the size of a cupcake. These pogaches were like this, like two hockey pucks stacked on top of one another. They were expensive, but they were worth every penny. Because I was looking, I can't remember the name of the bakery. And I was looking at the specials, and I see pogaches. So I called and I said, can I order a dozen for pickup on Thursday? He said, sure, they'll be ready. What's your name? Grumpy. All right. I walked in. I'm here for pogaches. Oh, you must be Grumpy. Here you go. That'll be $400, please. Okay. I can't remember how much they were, but they were expensive. I didn't care. I haven't had a pogach in 30 years. 40 years. Yeah. No, 50 years. And I ate one a day. And it was hard. It was hard. I'd look in that container, go, oh no, you need the okay. I would very slowly eat that bogach. Then I'd lick the crumbs off the plate. It was like the 12 days of Christmas. I had a dozen pogachas, one every day for 12 days. And they tasted just like the ones my grandmother made. Oh, man. I thought you'd be cooking by now. Usually about this time, you're like, oh, I gotta go cook dinner. I'll be back. Yeah, I'm gonna have some Slovenian sausage. Mild. I put the hot ones in the slow cooker, in the crock pot. Oh, did that intensify the heat? Oh, I took a bite out of them and whoa! But the sauerkraut was done to perfection. So tomorrow I'll finish the rest of them. Oh, I was tempted to go back for seconds. I like, oh, no. I picked up some really nice Cubanelle peppers. I'm going to get me some Italian sausage and some Italian sausage hoagie rolls. And then I'm going to slice them Cubanelle peppers up with some onions and fry them up. Italian sausage loaded with onions and peppers. Because I have to go up to the store tomorrow, so Italian sausage, get some sausage hoagie rolls. I love Cubanelle peppers. They got a better flavor than just the straight green pepper. Not to mention they were on sale. They were on I call it the ready to rot rack. A bag with 6 beautiful Cubanelle peppers for $1. I'm looking them peppers over going, what's wrong with these? Sell by date. They were past the sell by date. I put them in the fridge. I looked at them before. Oh, they're still okay. Matter of fact, I like to stuff Cubanelle peppers rather than a regular green pepper. God, I guess I should get some ground beef too. I haven't had stuffed peppers in about a year. Or meatloaf. Although that's winter food. Because who the hell wants to heat up an oven when it's 80 degrees outside? Matter of fact, every now and then I'll get some hot banana peppers and stuff them too. Oh, you're holding out on us, Ron, if you can afford steak. You made stuffed peppers last week? I'm going to have to make some. Get me some more Cubanelles. I get lazy over the summer, you know. Not to mention, who wants to have a hot oven going? Make some stuffed peppers, make some meatloaf. Swiss steak. Oh, God, I haven't had Swiss steak in about a year. Well, we were 79 today. Tomorrow it's supposed to be 79 again, and then Tuesday it's supposed to be 83. Now, Kathy, when you make stuffed peppers, do you make multicolored? If I make stuffed peppers, I'll get a couple of green, a couple of red, and a couple of yellow. I make multicolored stuffed peppers. They look cute in the pan. Red, green, yellow. Red, green, yellow. Actually, I really like the red peppers because they're nice. They're sweeter. Although red peppers are expensive in the store. Jesus. You can't even afford to eat. It's like, well, I can afford the peppers, but I can't afford the ground beef. Although when I get, if I'm going to make stuffed peppers, I go up to the butcher shop because they make meatloaf mix. Because I like making my stuffed peppers with meatloaf mix, which is basically ground beef, ground pork, ground veal. Well, that's why I intermingle. Green, red, yellow, green, red, yellow. You know, that's. You used to be able to go into like Giant Eaglet and get meatloaf mix. It would be prepackaged. Now you have to ask for it. Can you make me some meatloaf mix? Oh, really? We just cleaned the meat grinder. Forget it. That's why I go up to the butcher shop. Because they always have it. Hey, the red and yellow are expensive enough. Now you want what? I'm gonna make a $5,000 casserole of stuffed peppers. God, between the price of peppers and tomatoes, Jesus. When I was doing my garden, I grew chocolate peppers. They started out green, they ripened brown, and they were sweet as can be. Yeah, I've seen purple peppers. How about, Ron, how about a black tomato? I grew them one year. They were called black diamonds. Ugliest looking tomato. They looked rotten. They started out light green, and then when they ripened, they were black. And when you sliced them, they were black inside. But oh God, were they delicious. It was just kind of off-putting to put a slice of black tomato on top of your burger, you know. I used to grow nothing but heirloom tomatoes. Purple tomatoes, yellow tomatoes, black tomatoes, red and yellow tomatoes. Now, wait a minute. I heard a weird noise. Probably goddamn Boots knocking his food dish off the table again. Let me go look. I don't like crashing noises. Yep, the brat. I'm going to have to Velcro his food bowl to the table. I guess that's his way of saying, I'm hungry. Yeah, goddamn food bowl's off on the floor again. The brat. Although I tricked him. Last night, instead of half a cup of dry food, I gave him a quarter cup. Then this morning, the bowl was empty, so I give him the other quarter cup. And it didn't take long to empty it. But he don't like this half a cup of food. My phones are going crazy. Must be an Amber Alert.
Amber Alert, Brunswick, Ohio, Taiwan, Bayman, 7 years of age. Be on the lookout for license plate Ohio, hit 1234 2014 silver Ford Escape. If seen, call 911.
Oh, gee, an Amber Alert out of Brunswick, Ohio. 7-year-old. Yep, that's what I thought, Amber Alert. Brunswick, Ohio. Taiwan Bayman, 7 years of age. Be on the lookout for license plate King Ida George 1234, a 2014 silver Ford Escape. Okay. That's the only, well, that and inclement weather. If a storm, I forgot I had the Amber Alert on. Christ, Brunswick, that's not that far away. Oh, did you see the picture of Sharon Osbourne in the news yesterday? Kelly took her falconing, and it shows her with the big glove with a big fucking falcon on her arm. She said she rather enjoyed it. It's the first time she's been out public since poor Ozzy passed away. But yeah, Kelly said, I took her falconing. In America, you take your mom to the mall. In London, you take your mom out falconing. Boy, it looked like Kelly lost some weight. She used to be a tad pudgy. Oh, you should. The falcon was gorgeous, Kathy. They had a close up with her, with it sitting on her arm. The bird was beautiful. Of course, it had its little headdress on. That's like, oh, what the hell? Mongolia? I think it, where they raise eagles. When you reach a certain age, they like take an eagle baby out of a nest, and then the kid raises it, and he has it, oh, maybe 20 years, and then he lets it go. But it shows, oh man, big brown golden eagles. But that falcon bird was gorgeous. Maybe Sharon will become a falconeer. What talk show was she on? Was she on The View? I remember she used to be on a morning show. I can't remember if it was The View. Although I had heard that they were thinking of canceling The View, and then I saw a commercial the other day with Joy Behar and what's her name? Whoopi Goldberg. Back for season 57 or whatever it is. I didn't think that that show drew that kind of rating that they would bring it back. I had heard that the ratings were tanking for that. Oh, that had to be cool. The guy actually brought him. Did the bird take off and then come back? Oh, I gotta remember. September 24th. I found my note. Judge Simpson he's going to make a decision on this animal abuse case. Where this girl was whipping the shit out of her dog. And I don't know. I think it's a bench trial. All I know is it's September 24th. And Judge Simpson does his stuff live every day. All I know is I had Judge Simpson September 24th dog case. What, did the guy manage the Girl Scout camp? Did he live there? Did he live there all year round? Now, was your Girl Scout camp open all year round? Like the Boy Scout camp in Ohio? Because I remember we did well, it wasn't quite winter yet, a cold weather thing with the Scouts. But the Boy Scout camp also has a big cabin. Yeah, Ron, I wasn't going to mention it. I hope he has to forfeit everything. Boy, he'll cry. Oh, oh God, you'll see tears in his eyes if they make him forfeit everything. Yeah, the Boy Scouts had one like east. I think we had four. We had one north, south, east, and west. Because in the summer we went out to the one in Toledo. And then I want to think the other one was like around Pymatuming or somewhere in that area. Because I know the one had a big cabin. Because you had to bring your own firewood. Because there was a fireplace in like the dorm. And then there was a fireplace, I'll call it the living room / kitchen. Because there was no furnace. And somebody had to get up in the middle of the night and keep the fire going. And then before we left, we had to clean the fireplaces out. I enjoyed when my son was in Scouts. I remember the one time there were six fathers that went. And one of them didn't drink. So he stayed with the Scouts, and the other 5 of us went into town to the bar. We knocked back a few. Kept it hush-hush. Because in the summer, they had big ass army tents and army cots. And you would just basically call the camp and say, all right, we're going to have 6 adults and 20 kids. And they would set up the cots. And there were no floors. So they would put down straw or hay, one or the other. Then after a while, my kid got tired of scouting and we dropped out. But those were some fun weekends. Because the one Boy Scout camp was like on the other side of Wellington. Because it was close to the state park. I remember that. But it was fun. Kids would all go to bed and the adults would sit around the campfire. But after a while, my kid was like, I don't want to do scouting anymore. Well, I think it's about that time. is going to go on the Passat, the NBC plate, or maybe the Fox. I got to make a decision. Everybody think about it. Which plate should I put on the Passat, the NBC or the Fox? I'll show you the Fox one. Either the NBC or the Fox plate. Let me know tomorrow what you think. And with that, everybody, have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thanks for being here. And we will meet again tomorrow night. And with that, see ya.